4 days underground, and the door was never locked the way she thought it was. He tells her there is a way out. He tells her he killed his father. Then he walks her up into the light and disappears, and she goes home to a family that never once looked for her. That should be the end of it. So why does she keep going back down there on her own? Seo asked him 3 honest questions and he answered none of them. Then the water started running behind the wall and the room got very large around her. Did she cross a line she had no business near? She keeps circling it. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe he knew the whole time. Knew that every soft thing she handed him was fear wearing a kind face, that she only asked about the cut on his arm because she wanted the door open. He probably thinks the whole of it is another act. So it's too late to tell him she meant it. Probably, almost certainly. The shower keeps up its steady hiss. Water finds the drain, plops off the pipes, and under all of it, something in the walls turns over. A low mechanical whir, then a click, then a pause that lasts a beat too long. The light above her stutters. It's about time for his bandages anyway, so let him think she's faking. Now that she knows what he's been carrying around under all that quiet, she can't go back to not knowing it. Especially not with the 2 of them shut in the same stretch of ground, breathing the same air, waiting on the same door. Then everything goes black. Not dim, gone. Her hands go out in front of her and find nothing but cold air. The rain, maybe. It's been coming down for days. And she remembers too late that the floor down here is carpeted in broken glass. There might be a flashlight in the infirmary. She goes for it a step at a time, feeling along the wall with her palm. Somewhere behind her, a clack and breathing that's coming much too fast. Then her name, in Won Hyok's voice. Her fingers find the switch and click it. The beam swings down a corridor that swallows it whole. A door creaks, and the breathing gets louder, short, ragged, stacking up on itself. Someone trying to pull air through a straw. She has heard that exact sound before, a long time ago, standing on the wrong side of a school supply closet door. She finds him in the dark, and the thought he can't finish is already half out of his mouth. Did she leave? Won Hyok, she says, were you looking for me? His hand comes up out of the black and closes around her wrist. Why does she keep wandering off? Can't she stay put for 1 second? His voice is scraped raw and his grip is all wrong, too tight, shaking. She asks what's going on, and then she understands. The lights went out and took something in him with them. Water drips. And there's blood running down his arm again. Give me your arm, she says. I brought bandages. He snatches it back before she can touch him. She left the room just for bandages. He says it flat like he's laying a card down. So she's decided to play nice with him now. Her head is full of nothing but ways out of here. He's right about that part. She doesn't bother saying otherwise. She turns and walks. Let's break it down, she says. The door, the blue one. There's no key anywhere in this place and both of them need to be on the other side of it, so there's nothing else left to try. It's the best thing for both of them, and if he won't do it, she will. The frame gives with a crack. Metal grinds, swings wide, and the flashlight goes in ahead of them. There's a sign bolted to the wall inside. Caution, then pipes. Valves. A dead gray bank of machinery nobody has touched in years. The machine room. Not an exit. She says no out loud, to nobody. There's a mistake here somewhere, there has to be. Nobody builds a shelter meant to hold people through the worst day of their lives and gives it one way out. Nobody does that. But if it isn't a mistake, if this is really nothing but a room full of pipes. Her knees go. He catches her before the glass does. She's shaking so hard the light jumps all over the walls, and he's asking if she's okay, and it comes out of her all at once. Nobody out there is looking for her. Nobody's going to. What if they're still down here in a month, in a year? What if the 2 of them just get forgotten under the ground, and that's the end of it? What are they going to do? Something slides, heavy, dragging, off in the dark past the beam of her light. Then his voice, close and very calm. Mind your head. There is a way out. There is a way out. He says it low, somewhere behind her in the dark, and the whole bunker changes shape around the words. Not a hope. a fact he has been sitting on. So he knew from the first hour, from the moment the metal came down, and she started counting her odds like something caught. Then he did this on purpose. She hears her own voice say it, and it lands on both of them. She believed him. She believed something terrible had happened to him, that he was shut in here beside her, that the same accident had caught them both. She bandaged his arm. She sat up worrying about him. She can hardly stand what that looks like now. He doesn't answer. He never answers. So she stops waiting and goes at him with both hands, sleeves, collar, pockets, anywhere a small thing could hide. The blue door was the only door in this whole place, and it opened onto pipes. So whatever the way out is, he is carrying it on him. "What are you doing?" he says, twisting away from her like she's the dangerous one. He tells her he doesn't have it. It's nothing like that. Stop lying. How is she meant to believe one more word out of him? Why did she ever? This boy fooled her once when she was small, and she carried it for years, and here she is, older, standing in the same hole with the same face in front of her. "Let me out." No. 4 words between them, and nothing underneath either of them to argue with. "Do you want to know why I'm keeping you down here?" His hands close around her wrists, and the back of her head finds the wall. Won-hyuk says it flat, the way a man reads out his own sentence. "I did it. I killed him. My father." So that's the whole of it. Not the closed road, not the hatch that sticks, not the man who came looking for him, her. She is the loose end, the one person breathing who could carry this up the stairs and hand it to somebody. "Now, do you understand why I'm keeping you down here?" he says. "You might tell people, so just give up. Up in the daylight, in the house the whole town crosses the street to avoid, someone else is holding her breath. Jiwon. The smell reaches her first, sharp enough to sting, and it takes her a second to name it. Bleach. Then the shape against the wall, a suitcase packed and standing upright. A step behind her. "You caught me cleaning," the woman says. Easy as anything. Is the bleach a bit much? Then she looks properly and her face opens. She knows this girl, or thinks she does. The one from next door. The one who was never apart from Won-hyuk when they were small. "Are you here to see him?" And Jiwon goes cold. She's being mistaken for So. "He's hardly ever home," the woman says. Jiwon hears herself back away from it. "We're not that close, actually." "Ah, so you're not close anymore." Something leaves the woman's face by degrees, like a light being turned down. "I thought you were." Again. "Seeing as you felt comfortable enough to walk straight in here." Jiwon starts an apology, and the woman is already moving. "What are you still doing here?" "Leave." The door shuts behind her hard enough to ring, and she stands on the step with her pulse in her ears, because something she buried years ago has just sat up. That day. Did she really see what she thought she saw? Below, nothing has moved. His grip is still on her, and her hands have gone numb in it. "You're hurting my wrists," she says, and he lets go the way you drop something hot. In the half second his hands are off her, she gets her own hand around something with an edge on it. "Let me out, right now. Or I'll..." He doesn't step back from the blade. He steps into it, throat first, and holds there. "Do it. I don't care what you do to me. It doesn't matter anyway, but I'm never letting you out, so you may as well give up." He put his own neck against it. If her hand had shaken, if she'd been half a second slower pulling back, she'd have opened him up. And that is when she finally reads him right. He isn't bluffing and he isn't brave. There is nothing left of himself that he wants, so there is nothing she can threaten. So what corner is left? What is there down here he still can't stand to lose? There is one thing. It has been standing in front of him this whole time. She turns the blade around. After that, there is only the sound of it hitting the floor. Drop after drop, and the boy, who can't stand the sight of blood, going down on his knees in it with both hands trying to hold her shut. The sound in the room is water, except it isn't water. It's So going drop by drop onto the concrete. "Don't come." She gets out, one hand up between them. He comes anyway. He gets her down against the wall and puts both hands flat over the wound, hard, the way you hold a door shut. This is the boy who couldn't look at his own bandaged arm without his face going gray. and now it's running warm through his fingers and he isn't looking away from it. Wonhyok, she says. It comes out of her like an apology. Just one more day, he says. Not to her exactly, to the floor, to the room, to whatever he has been bargaining with since the hatch came down on them. Just one more. Then nothing for a long while. Only the press of his hands and the two of them breathing, and in all that quiet, a tap. Small, unhurried, the oldest thing there is between them. So, he says, and her name comes out of him wrong, like he already knows what he is about to do with it. Go get your things. 4 words, and every rule she has been living under since he sealed her in comes apart. He crosses the room and works something loose at the wall. A clack. Then a long creak of metal that has not moved in years, and he is holding it open for her. Mind your head and back. So this is the real exit. Not the hatch she threw her whole weight against. Not the blue door that opened onto nothing but pipes. A place like this, and it was here the whole time she was down there doing sums on how to get out. And underneath that, quieter and worse. How did Wonhyok even find it? Footsteps in the dark, his and then hers. Watch your step, he says, and she watches his back instead, the way it keeps half turning to check she is still behind him. He stops and holds out his shirt. Put this over your eyes. Coming out of the dark will hurt them, he says, and it hurts worse the first time. She doubts that. She ties it on anyway because he could change his mind about all of this in the space of one breath, and she is not going to be the one who hands him a reason. There's water ahead, don't be alarmed. It comes up cold over her shoes. Blind, both arms full of everything she owns down here, she can't keep her balance. Would it help if I held that for you, he says. Oh yeah, she says. That'd be nice. He picks her up instead. Did you just pick me up? Yeah, put me down. You asked if you could hold my stuff. It isn't far, just stay still. And I am technically holding your stuff too. That is not the point. It can't be that bright, she thinks, and starts pulling the shirt off. The world goes white. Even with it back down, she can't get her eyes open. Did we just come out of a cave or something? She says. No answer. So she keeps them shut, puts her face against his shoulder, and lets the rest of it arrive without pictures. Wet grass, so strong it's almost sweet. The rain, she thinks. There's a word for that smell, she's certain there is, she just can't reach it. What she can reach is that Wonhyok always smelled like this. When they were small. Down there. Now, we're here. You know the way from here, so I'll set you down. The ground goes solid and ordinary under her again. She reaches out before she can talk herself out of it. Wonhyok, aren't you coming back with me? There's a flinch, and then there's nobody. She turns a full circle on the path. He was standing right there. She would have heard him go. She would have heard something. It feels like he was never up here at all. She runs, stupid. What is she even doing? Standing in the open, aching over the boy who kept her underground. It's the dark, that's all it is. Too many days of it. Don't think stupid thoughts. Out here is where she belongs. She stops dead at her own front door. How many days was it? She missed school on top of it, so they'll have been worried, they'll want the whole of it, and she has nothing to give them that doesn't sound like a lie. She presses the keypad. Inside, there is laughter that hasn't missed a beat. A table already set. Somebody eating without looking up. And the thing that meets her in the doorway is a question. Did you have a good time? 4 days underground, and the house wants to know if she had a good time. Nobody stands up. Nobody asks where. Her aunt has already turned to Jiwon with the braised beef, and Jiwon pushes it back. She doesn't want any, and she isn't a kid who needs feeding. Then her aunt notices her. Seo. Is something wrong? Is the food not to your liking today? It isn't that. It's that the question got asked at all at a table where she has never been the reason anyone paused. Just leave her alone, Jiwon says. Maybe she liked the food better at her friend's house. That's not it, So says. Nobody waits for the rest. The stew's ready, bowls for everyone. I don't want any, I'll help you. The kitchen goes on around her, warm and loud. More toppings pushed at someone who wants them. 4 days she spent measuring a locked room, and here the whole question is who gets seconds? She gets up before anyone can ask again. Her stomach turns in the hallway. In her own room, she stops just inside the door and can't work out what's wrong with it. Was it always this small? The walls stand exactly where they stood. She's the one who came back a different size. 4 days. That's all it was. She turns the number over in case it changes. Down there, it stretched into something with no end on it, damp air dripping. The same corridors walked raw. And up here, it folded into a long weekend. No wonder her aunt never worried. She was gone exactly as long as this house wanted. The door opens without a knock. Were you at Won-hyuk's place? Ji-won doesn't ask it, she states it. You were at his house, you've got nowhere else to go. Don't tell me you… And So is already answering, too fast, too loud. I wasn't. And in the half beat before she can get anything else out, a voice that isn't in this room. Won-hyuk 4 days ago. I killed him. My father, I wasn't at his house. Steadier the second time. Ji-won lets it sit, then shrugs the whole thing off. Sleep on the street, sleep at some guy's place, she doesn't care. Just as long as it isn't his. I could have been at a friend's house, why do you keep assuming? A friend's house. Ji-won crosses the room on that word, takes hold of her, and So loses her footing. You? Then quieter, almost pitying. So, as if I'd believe that. Then Ji-won sees the arm. What did you do to it? Don't tell me you pulled that same thing again. Another step, another grab, and the sleeve goes up whether she wants it or not. So says nothing because the answer is a blade in a bunker and a boy on his knees trying to hold her shut. A short laugh with nothing in it. You really are pathetic, you know that. School? The first thing anyone says to her is about the absence. Seo, why didn't you come in that day? Around it, the corridor carries on. Let's buy snacks. There's a minute of break left. What's for lunch? Trays clattering. She hears it all from far off and can't find it in her to deny anything or to mind. How was she living before? That's what won't come back. How did she used to feel crossing this floor? What did she think about? Did she always weigh each small thing before doing it the way she weighs it now? Where to put her hands? When to breathe out? 4 days and she can't remember how she used to be a person here. Get it together. If she keeps standing in doorways like this, someone will notice something's off about her, and being noticed is the one thing she has never been. She needs to remember how she used to live. Then a crush of kids shoving for seats, and her mind goes somewhere else entirely. That day, she doesn't know why it surfaces now. A banner strung over the yard, air raid preparedness, civil defense drill, and a whole school stood in rows. Someone lines a mask up to their head, like this, see? Then a teacher counting boxes twice. We're short one. Not every kid is getting one. 2 claps for quiet. We're short, so we pair up, find a partner, and come get a mask from me. The lines break into 2s in about 4 seconds. Ji-won. She gets 1 syllable out. Somebody else asks Ji-won first. Ji-won says, sure, easy as breathing, and doesn't look back. Then it's just her, standing where the rows used to be. Everyone got a mask, right? The count comes up odd. So, you couldn't find a partner, could you, out loud in front of everyone? And her eyes go hot. The other class is odd, too. No masks left there either. Then, from the front, there's one student using a mask on his own. Pair them up. Oh good, who is it? And every head in the yard turns the same way, toward the one boy nobody has ever been willing to stand beside. Won-hyuk. The one boy in the whole yard using a mask by himself turns out to be Won-hyuk. The teacher stalls over it. She doesn't know how a girl would feel about being paired with a boy. It's all right, So says, and hears her own voice come out too fast. Then nobody says anything at all. So you came to school today, she tries because he almost never does. Nothing. She taps his arm and he flinches like she's burned him. Come on, you're not going to answer me? Won-hyuk? Behind them, the giggling starts. Those 2 losers are sharing a mask. They're basically going to kiss. Then a voice that means it kindly, which is worse. So's pretty, I don't get why she's a loser. You don't know. It's because she hangs around Won-hyuk. Is something wrong? And he's already moving, out of the rows, out of the yard, past every teacher watching. The murmur closes over the space he left. Isn't that him, the murderer's kid? Now he's walking out right in front of the staff. So is left standing there on her own again. He ends up where he always ends up when the noise gets too loud, somewhere out of the way with his back to a wall, breathing out slow. Found you. He nearly comes off the ground. How did you find me? She shrugs. She just figured he'd be somewhere like this. She's right, and both of them notice that she's right. Why did you run away? She asks. He turns it around on her. Why did you follow me? You should have stayed put. Now everyone knows you came after me. So you wanted me standing there on my own without a partner, she says. He doesn't have an answer for that one. So she presses, the way a kid does. Thanks to him, she still doesn't know how to put a gas mask on. What's he going to do about that? Poke, poke. Then show me, she says. Not with this one, he says, too loud. Why not? What do you mean, why? Because. The taunt from the yard plays back behind his eyes, sharing a mask, basically going to kiss. What comes out of him instead is gross. She snatches it out of his hands and has it over her face before he can stop her. A long stretch of nothing. Then she turns to look at him. Are you hot? You've gone all red. She never once thought about it back then. Not properly. Why he kept turning up. Why he minded whether she had a partner. Whether anyone had said anything to her. Why a boy the whole town crossed the road to avoid spent all of it looking after her. It only becomes a question years later in a room she has stopped recognizing. A door beeps open somewhere else in that same year. Hi, sweetie, welcome home. The voice her aunt keeps for Jiwon. Come and sit down a second. What now? Jiwon, I hear you've been ignoring So at school. Your teacher says she's always the one left without a partner. Jiwon's answer arrives fully formed. Not on purpose. And is it her fault the class has an odd number in it? Meanwhile, So is rattling a gate she has no business rattling. Wonhyuk, come out, let's go somewhere. He comes. He always comes. Where are we going, he asks, half a step behind her the whole way. You've never been down here, it's the shortcut home from school. Don't go in there. Huh? Weren't you listening at the drill? They told everyone to stay out of the water. They found a landmine in another town. That town's miles from here. Doesn't matter how far it is. Then take the long way round, she says, and steps in. Hop, jump, stone to stone, water going dark under her, and behind her the sound of him giving up and coming in after her. Then the wobble, a grab, his hand on her arm before the rest of him has decided anything. Careful, you almost fell. Tsk. Why make all that fuss if you were only going to follow me anyway? And I only almost fell because of you. Stand up straight. She flops down on the bank instead. So, why are you so reckless? You lean out of windows far enough to go through them. And he lists the next one in the same flat voice as the first two, like it belongs on the list. You keep hanging around with the murderer's son. Are you telling me I should be scared of you? She says. Water moves between them. If you were scared of me, he says, you'd keep away from me. And then, quieter past all the arguing. I don't want to live without you, and someday I want a place I can call home. Then the memory lets go of her, and she is standing on wet ground in the present, over a hatch she swore she was finished with. Thump, thump. Whether that's the metal or her own chest, she can't tell, and she doesn't step back, somewhere to come back to. That was the wish years ago in a boy's voice, and it is still sitting on her when the ground knocks twice under the hatch. She walks anyway. She came the whole way out here on nothing. A few pictures from when they were small, surfacing out of nowhere. She can't even hand it to fear. Not the fear he cut into her down there. Not the 4 days. Not the locked metal over her head. If it were fear, she'd have taken the long way round and kept her eyes on the road. Fear doesn't walk a person back toward the thing, so it's something else. She doesn't finish the thought. School. Someone is in her chair, and someone else's bag has the desk. That's my seat, she says, and the laughing goes on over the top of her without a seam in it. Did you hear something? Must be that ghost from before. Her hand closes on the strap and stays closed. Then the whispering finds a better subject, so she really did cut herself. Someone repeats the words that were said to her in her own bedroom. What did you do to your arm? Don't tell me you pulled that same thing again, and there is exactly one person they could have come from. You told them? Ji-won doesn't bother lowering her voice. What, I can't tell people? You did it for attention anyway. Congratulations. Now you've got it. The room turns to whispering and sideways looks. A chair goes over. Fine, take your chair. A shove, the legs skidding on the floor. Wouldn't want you cutting yourself on my account. So the seat is hers. Nobody is looking anywhere else. She stands beside it with her bag still on her shoulder. Underneath it, something starts to rise. Slow and cold and patient. A feeling she knows better than she knows this room. The classroom goes thin around her. This place. It's familiar, and not because of the desks or the noise. It's the other thing underneath. Damp working up through her shoes, water running somewhere out of sight, air that has already been breathed by somebody else. Her chest pulls tight and won't fill. A buzz behind her eyes, and then 2 words, flat and certain. Do it. And under them a voice out of years ago. A boy's, small and caught out. How did you find me? Her own answer, easy as breathing. I just figured you'd be somewhere like this. That day. He went down into that hole for the same reason she is about to. On his own. A chair scrapes back. A door. Then the road, and her lungs, and the fence coming up on her too fast. 4 days he kept her sealed in down there, and she is running the whole way back to it. Please, not too late. The hatch doesn't give. She hauls at it twice, and it doesn't even pretend to move. Where's the other entrance? It should be around here. 4 days ago, he carried her out through a door she never got to see. A shirt over her eyes by then. And all she came away with was the shape of it, water first, then concrete. She pushes through the overgrowth and stops. This is where he brought her when they were little. Branches whip past her face, then water, black and flat. The water a whole town told them never to step in. A landmine found somewhere else. Take the long way, don't go in there. She goes straight through the middle of it. On the far side, a low mouth in the concrete, old lettering beside it. Mind your head and back. She drops in. He's on the floor where the dark is thickest. She gets a hand to his face, and her body understands it before she does. His skin is like ice. He was always warm. Whatever else he was, whatever he did, he was always warm. No, she says it into the space above him. To nobody, to the concrete. Please. Her hands find his shoulders and stay there, and she asks him to come back to her, out loud, the way a person only asks when there is nobody left to hear it. Then, under her palm, a knock. And a second one. 2 beats, stubborn, coming up through his shirt, the same way the ground knocked twice under her feet at the fence. His fingers close on hers. Thank God, she says it, and says it again and can't make herself stop. His eyes come open, hazy, finding her by degrees. One hayok, you're a wa. And he turns his face away before she can finish the word. What's wrong? Does it still hurt? Let her see. No. Don't look. Don't be like that. Look at me. She takes his chin and tells him he had her so worried, and turns him toward what little light there is. He moves faster than she does. Whatever he has been keeping from her, she gets half a second of it before his hand comes up between them. I said, don't look, so don't look, he told her. So she looks at the wall instead. Low down, where the concrete goes damp, somebody has scratched a ladder into it. Crooked rungs, a child's hand, set at the height of someone sitting on this floor. She rubs at it with her thumb, and it stays. When did you draw this? She asks. This ladder. Back in the day, he says. He kept getting turned around by the layout of this place, so he marked it. Back in the day. She works out what that means and wishes she hadn't. A boy small enough to sit on this floor, alone under the ground, drawing himself directions because nobody was coming down to show him the way. He turns to pull his shirt straight, and she catches sight of his back. She is up before she has decided to be, the words falling out of her. Your back. He got hurt because of her. She doesn't know the half of how, only that he went where he went because she was there, and that he has been keeping this side of himself turned away from her all day. Here, give her the cream. She'll do it. Her hand never lands. He knocks it away hard enough that the sound stays in the room afterward. I'm fine. Your hands will just get dirty. Don't touch me, I'm dirty. She came all the way back down here and he is still standing exactly where he was standing when she left him. Do you still not trust me? She asks. It's not that. Then what is it? She can always wash her hands. It's just, I don't want my blood to get on you. Does it matter? She says. I killed him. He says it the way you'd read a line off a form. My father. It is the second time Won Hyuk has set that sentence down in front of her, and it lands exactly as flat as the first. Oh is all she manages, and she hears how small it comes out. Then, too late, wait. Nothing after that from either of them. Then at least let her wash his hair. He hurt his hand because of her, after all. He says he can manage it with the other one. She doesn't move. She just asks him the same thing she asked over the cream, word for word. Do you not trust me now? Water and the sound of it filling the small room. It's her first time washing anyone else's hair. Did she get all the shampoo out? He doesn't answer that one either. A drop runs off the ends and falls, and the temperature of the room changes without either of them touching anything. His collar is soaked through and getting in the way. This is stupid, she mutters. Could you take your shirt off, Won Hyuk? Then, hey, why are your ears all red? He goes rigid under her hands. Was she too rough? Sorry, she says. She'll be gentler. He puts his whole head under the tap. Water goes everywhere and her voice goes up with it. What is he doing? Cooling off, he says from somewhere inside the stream. He wasn't even that red, she tells him. Now his shirt is drenched. He'll dry it with the hairdryer, it's fine. The hairdryer? No. Wait, Won Hyuk, give her the shirt. She has a better idea. Up out of the ground on the flat concrete over the overpass, the light comes down with no ceiling in it. Look, she says, holding the shirt up. Already dry. She bets he had no idea the weather got this good, shut in down there. He knew, he says. The lights came on in the bunker. Ah, right. Wind crosses the roof and she settles onto it like it belongs to her. Has he been up here before? Then metal answers her, clang, clang, her shoes finding a rail. And behind her, his voice changes register entirely. Why would she go up there? It's dangerous. Get down, so. She comes down off it anyway, the drop taking her stomach with it, and lands hard enough to sit her flat on the concrete. Air moves, footsteps. He reaches her out of breath, and none of it is a joke to him. What if you die? What if you die? Nobody has asked her that before. Not the house that packed her a bag and shut the door behind her. Not the school that forgets her between one period and the next. She sits with it a while. Nobody up the road would have noticed the hole she left. If even this doesn't give her a way to escape that, then she. Won Hyuk. How about this? While we're in the bunker, we forget about everything that happened outside. All of it. As if it never happened at all. She says it lightly, the way you'd float a game, sitting on concrete that has kept every single thing either of them has ever done. What do you think? The offer is still lying there between them, inside the bunker. Nothing that happened outside ever happened. He doesn't answer it. Something jumps in his jaw, and then he's up and moving past her, and she twists around to see where he's going. Rungs ring under his hands, metal on metal, the sound carrying out into open air. He climbs to the exact spot he told her to keep off, and she comes up after him. Wet concrete, wind with an edge on it. Nothing over their heads for a long way. So, don't do something dangerous like that again. Like what? She says, sitting on that ledge the way you did earlier. She turns it over, half amused. Did it really look that dangerous? Yes, he says, just that. No softening, no joke to hang it on. So, of course she tries it, swings a leg over, tells him it's fine, it isn't even that high, and his hand closes on her sleeve and hauls her back. Why can you do it then, she wants to know. Because you're the type, he says, to do something impulsive every now and then without thinking. Am I? She has never once thought of herself that way, and his hand stays shut tight around the cloth. From up here, it really is high. The whole neighborhood laid out small and orderly, roofs and wires, and the road they closed for demolition. Even the school, a pale block on the far side of it. She looks at it a long time, wonders whether anybody down there can see them, whether anybody has ever looked up at all. Won-hyuk, he makes a sound that means he's listening. "Could you do me just one favor?" she says. A classroom. Chairs scraping, 30 voices going at once, and So at her desk with her face turned to the glass. "Hey, look at her. She's been staring out that window all day. Maybe she's finally lost it. Maybe she's seeing things." Somebody dares somebody else to go over and ask. A foot hits the leg of her chair. "Hey, why are you staring out the window?" So keeps her eyes where they are and says nothing, and the nothing lands harder than an answer would. She just completely ignored you. Laughter behind a hand. "Hey, are you deaf or something? I asked why you're staring out the window like some idiot." Someone off to the side says it low. She's acting like she genuinely can't hear her. A hand closes on So's shoulder and turns her. The desk rattles. "I'm talking to you." It goes the way these things go, quick and mean and finished in a few seconds. And So takes it the way she takes everything. Face still, hands loose. Then footsteps backing off. "Wow, you're mad as hell, whatever." The word gets tossed over a shoulder and the room turns back to itself. They've always acted like she doesn't exist. That was the arrangement, and she learned to live inside it. So she lets it stay true. A page number called out from the front, 116, and the lesson closes over the whole thing like water. The favor. Up on the roof of the bunker, hair blowing sideways, she'd asked him if he could come up here while she's at school. "Up here?" he'd repeated, like she'd asked him to stand in the middle of the road. "Please, I want to see if I can see you." He didn't say yes, not out loud. She told him she'd let him know. Mid-lesson, her eyes go to the window the way they've gone all day. And there, out past the rooftops on the flat top of the bunker, something small and dark is standing where nothing ever stands. A laugh gets out of her before she can stop it. Her hand claps over her own mouth. "Sorry," she tells the room. "Sorry, something got stuck in my throat." He's pacing, back and forth along the top of it, a speck she could cover with her thumb. Now he's sat down. He must feel ridiculous up there in full view of a town that has never once been kind to him. And he went up anyway because she asked. She cannot stop laughing and has to shake with it silently, mouth pressed shut. Down the stairs, through the door, the hinge complaining the way it always does. Won-hyuk. "Are you sleeping?" A click and the light comes up, and he flinches from it, eyes glancing away. "Oh, you're awake. I saw you from my classroom." It comes out of her in a rush, all of it at once. That she'd been sure he'd be too embarrassed to go up, that she kept checking anyway just in case. That for 1 second she thought he might be a wild animal until she caught the pacing and knew. It was so hard not to burst out laughing in the middle of class, she says. And she doesn't finish because his hand has come up to her face. No words, just that. She told him she'd spotted him from her classroom window, up on the bunker in broad daylight, and that it was all she could do not to laugh through the whole lesson. Then his hand comes up toward her face and the laughing stops. His thumb finds her cheek and stays there. Not a grab, nothing like the grip that used to close on her arm down here. Just a slow rub, back and forth like he's working a smudge off her skin. So holds still. "Is there something on my face?" she asks, and Won-hyuk doesn't answer, doesn't stop, and the room goes very quiet around the two of them. Something is off. She can feel where this is going the way you feel weather coming. If he doesn't stop soon, then... She steps back. Glass goes off under her heel like a small shot, and the whole moment comes apart. His hand drops. Her breath comes back. The corridor is only a corridor again. "Broken glass," she says, looking down at the mess they've both been stepping around for days. Neither of them says the other thing. So she says the safe thing instead. Should they clean the place up a bit? He keeps getting cut, and neither of them wants to live in shoes. Might as well make it comfortable in here, like a home. She hears the word come out of her own mouth and doesn't take it back. He agrees so fast it throws her. "It'll get dusty," she says. "Does he have any face masks?" He goes quiet. says he has something similar, and comes back holding 2 of them by the straps. Gas masks. Full rubber, round glass eyes, a shelter's idea of housekeeping. She loses it. It's not the masks, she tells him, wiping her eyes. They just reminded her of the day he bolted out of the auditorium in the middle of the drill, and she went out after him, small and out of breath, chasing the one boy nobody else would follow. He doesn't laugh with her. He doesn't say anything at all. Then he steps in with a deal, a bet to make the work less like work. First one to fill a bag gets a wish, anything they want. She's still saying, sure, when he's already gone, dust kicking up behind him. He plays dirty. Whole armfuls go in at once, and whatever won't fit, he tears down until it does. That's cheating, she shouts, and he tells her flatly that it isn't his problem. Something rips. Something else clatters. She's laughing too hard to keep her own bag upright. Enough, she gasps. Call the bet off, they aren't getting any actual cleaning done. Too late. He holds his bag up. I won. He is, she thinks, absolutely relentless. Fine then, he gets his wish. What does he want? He starts to answer, stops himself, and changes it. He'll tell her when she leaves, which only makes her want it now. He's sweating through his shirt again. He never could stand the heat, not even when he was small, always damp at the hairline while everybody else stayed dry. She catches herself smiling at the plain fact of it, at how one thing about him has stayed exactly where she left it, that you haven't changed. Above ground, a cafe table, cold drinks, classmates with an afternoon to fill. Did you see the way So suddenly started laughing in class today? Said something got stuck in her throat. Please, she's lost her mind. And she's still staying at your place, isn't she, Jiwon? That must be unbearable. Jiwon stirs her drink. It's really, really annoying, she says. The girl across the table leans in, delighted, certain she's found an ally. Jiwon cuts her off before she gets there. Don't give her any attention. Just keep ignoring her, the way you always have. It lands like agreement, it isn't. Below, they take stock of what they've actually managed. One day was never going to clear this out. Every single room is a mess and the place is enormous. She'll come after school tomorrow, she says, and then she stops. Tomorrow is Saturday. She can be here the whole day. Beside her, something jolts through him and she misses it, already planning the weekend out loud. At the steps, she says she'll see him tomorrow, tells him to guard the place well. He says he isn't a dog. Halfway up, under the faded sign about minding your head, she remembers. So what's the wish? He's going to think of a different one. That one was too easy. She calls back that he doesn't get to switch next time, and then the hatch comes over her and takes the sound of her away. One Hyok stands under it a while after it shuts. Then he turns back into the bunker they scrubbed together, kills the light, and lies down in a room that smells like soap instead of rot. In the dark, her voice keeps running. Oh wait, tomorrow's Saturday. I can spend the whole day here. He lies there with a wish he's owed and all night to decide what to ask for. Thanks for watching. If this story pulled you in, subscribe. The next part is on screen now, and the whole thing is waiting in the playlist.